AITA for ordering nachos even though it deeply offended and set off my brother-in-law's autism and sensory issues? Edit. Thank you for the gold and platinum, everyone. I had a thesis practice defense today and had no idea this would blow up. Using a throwaway since I post on some relevant subs from time to time. My brother-in-law is 32, wife and I are 25, and while I don't doubt that some of his issues are real, autism, ADHD, setpoint obesity, it is my distinct impression that he exploits people's perception of these things to be controlling Rick. In the family, saying such things is completely forbidden. However, we offered to take my Mill and Phil out for Easter dinner so no one has to cook. The timing offered was strategic since we knew Bill had planning on watching TikTok live stream of some 19-year-old influencer who is blowing up right now, but I guess either he got the time wrong or she cancelled early, so my heart sank when he was coming along because I knew there was going to be drama. We went to a place famous for bar food and he ordered nachos. My wife begged me to order something else, but she wasn't direct with me about the problem and I didn't get her hints. As soon as he took my first bite or nachos, my Bill started shrieking like a child and throwing a little tantrum that she crunch was killing him, and he's going to lose it because black olives don't belong in nachos because they are from Spain, not Mexico. My wife, Mill and Phil told me I really screwed you, Pan, that I was making him uncomfortable. In a moment of pure honesty, I told them that the list of not allows around Brian is so long and tucking ridiculous that I can't keep up. My wife said she tried to tell me. I said no, you didn't tell me. You pussyfooted around it like we do every time this creep ruins a family function. Bill, Phil and Mill got up and left, leaving us with the bill, and needless to say things between me and my wife have been tense ever since and we really haven't spoken. I am absolutely the asshole for my choice of words. After he freaked out, and I get that, but I also think things needed to be said. But my question is, am I the asshole for ordering the nachos? My wife says I should have known since she's sure she told me, and I had to have noticed that they never have chips around because his misophonia can't handle the crunch. AITA here? AITA for telling my coworker that my solo picnic is as important as her daughter's recital. I, 29F, started working at a new company 8 months ago. I was headhunted specifically for the role I have, which gave me enough power to negotiate my contract like I wanted. One of the things I managed to get was a clause that prohibited my employer from contacting me outside work hours. If it is a true emergency, then they can send me an email. Otherwise, they can't even send me a text. Furthermore, I have a separate work phone that I shut down at 5 on the dot, then turn on at 9 a.m. Another thing is that I don't work OT. I am very efficient, so my work is done by 3 p.m., 5 p.m. if we have an emergency. I also take my whole lunch break outside the office, and my coffee breaks away from my desk. My coworkers are not the same. They tend to socialize during work hour, and have work left for afterwards. They sometimes ask me to help, but I always decline by saying that I have plans. I don't go into details, I just say that I have plans. These plans are 99% of the time just include going home, reading books, or sleeping. But that is my personal time. Monday, a coworker asked me if I could stay a bit later to help her out. Apparently she was late with some essential work, but had to be done by that night, because she had to attend her daughter's recital at 6. I said that I was sorry, but that I had plans. It was a nice day, so instead of going home, I just went to a park to read while breathing some fresh air. Brought some fruit and bubble tea, and made a picnic out of it. My coworker found me there, and she was pissed. She said that I could have helped her if I didn't have plans. I said that I do have plans, this impromptu picnic. She said that it wasn't as important as her daughter's recital. So I said that for me, it was even more important than her daughter's recital. She called me an and some of my friends agree. So AITA? Edit. So I log off for a few hours, log back in expecting Ma Abe 100 comments. I am blown, and thank everyone for their judgment. NTA, YTA Orish. Now for some important things. How did she find me in the park? The park is small, near her daughter's school. I didn't know that, and I was sitting closer to the street. She was driving by looking for parking when she spotted me and decided to confront me. I guess she wasn't that late for the recital. We are not on the same team. She asked for help because she knew I know how to do her tasks, not because we are on the same team working the same project. For people who are worried about my career, thank you, but don't worry. I am not planning to climb the corporate ladder. All I want is a job that pays enough to live a comfortable middle-class life. I invested in a bit of a niche, rare skill set, and it paid me back with a 6-figure salary and being very sought after. All I have to do is to maintain my skill set and keep up with the times, and I will be golden. I have had offers from all around my state, and a few more. For those who say that I am a miserable loner, I have a very fulfilling personal life, with a tight-knit family, and a great friend circle. I just prefer to not mix work and personal life, and that means no befriending coworkers. Made that mistake early on, but I learned from it. And lastly, for those saying an impromptu picnic is not plans, enjoying my personal time is and has always been my plans. AITA for telling my mill she gave up her family and it's her fault she's alone? My husband and I've been married for 6 years, at least 5 of those have been almost no contact with his mother. I don't know the whole story, but his dad passed away when he was young, and his mom remarried a man who was horribly abusive to him up until he moved out. He tried to tell his mother for years, but she just wouldn't believe it. It got to the point that for his own well-being he just couldn't be around her anymore. This week, after years of silence, she shows up at her doorstep. She said she'd tried to call, but we have her blocked, so obviously it didn't go through. She was in tears and started crying about how her husband had trashed her house and left her. And she realized her son was telling the truth, how she didn't have anyone, all that hit. She begged to talk to my husband. I said that she had some ucking alls coming to her house to cry after throwing her son to the side for a disgusting predator until that stopped working for her. I said she made her bed, now it's the time to lay in it, and it wasn't going to be in my ucking house. She was almost hysterical when she left. Her coming to the door put my husband in a panic attack. He's been too depressed to get out of bed since. I really don't care for that woman, but when I replay it in my head I feel absolutely terrible. Berating someone in tears never feels good, and now I think I might have just made things worse. Should I have done something different? Was that a move? AITA for asking my roommate to leave the room while crying over her breakup with her boyfriend so I could sleep? Sorry for the new account, my roommate knows my name. All names are fake for privacy purposes. I'm a college freshman and I opted to go for a random roommate. I was matched with this girl Donna, and so far we've gotten along pretty well. Donna has a boyfriend, Malcolm, who she's constantly on the phone with from the time she wakes up until the time she goes to sleep. A few weeks ago, I wanted to go to sleep early since I had an 8 a.m. midterm the next day. I told Donna this in advance and she said she'd be quiet. I fell asleep at about 9:30. However, at around 1 a.m., I woke up to the sound of Donna crying, literal screaming, like someone had just died. I immediately got out of bed and went over to her and asked her what was wrong, thinking something horrible had just happened. It took me a little bit to get it out of her, but she managed to tell me that Malcolm had just broken up with her over text. I felt awful for her. No one deserves that, and spent a while trying to comfort her, but she wouldn't calm down at all. She just kept sobbing and sobbing very loudly, which is very understandable since it was my understanding that they had been together for a while. Here's where I might be the AmItheAsshole though. Eventually, it started to get closer to 2:30 a.m. and Donna still wasn't calming down. But I needed my sleep since I had a midterm in 5 hours, so I suggested we both just go to sleep and revisit it later. She just looked at me like I was insane and asked if I really expected her to sleep. And then kept crying. I knew it was unlikely she'd calm down anytime soon, so I very gently asked her if she could leave the room until she was able to calm down a bit so I could sleep. Again, Donna just looked at me like I was crazy and didn't say anything, just kept crying. I repeated myself, again, being as nice as possible, that she could go to the bathroom or the laundry room too. Compose herself and come back when she was ready. Finally, she just got up without looking at me and stomped out, still crying, and I just went back to sleep. When I woke up for my midterm, she was back in her bed and sleeping, but since then she hardly said a word to me. To note, I couldn't go to a friend's dorm to spend the night since most of my friends live in dorms that are farther away and I don't want to walk by myself in the city at night and I wouldn't want to bother them on such short notice. However, I still feel terrible about what happened since she was going through a lot, and I'd really appreciate outside perspectives. AITA for not designing my cousin's wedding dress even though I've designed everyone else's. Long-time lurker, first-time poster and sorry for mistakes. English is not my native tongue, so I, 29F, have designed all the wedding dresses for my cousins, siblings, and aunts for the past decade. When my eldest sister, 35F, got engaged at 24, she asked me to design her dress since I'm passionate about design and she always loved my style. Her dress was a knockout, everyone loved it. And ever since, whenever one of our relatives announces their engagement, they ask if I can design their dress for them. I've always said yes because I absolutely love doing it, just so much fun. On to the issue, my cousin, 23F, is getting married next February and called me up to see when we could meet so she could share her ideas for her dress and he can start designing it. I do not like this cousin at all. Her parents spoiled her beyond rotten. I decided to still meet with her though and see if anything has changed since she's now an adult. She immediately shows me some photos of wedding dresses by Sarah Burton and tells me she wants something exactly like the pictures. I try to suggest a change in neckline or color and she shuts it down and tell me she wants exactly that. I told her I would not be making her dress as I love designing clothes that embody their wearer and suit them, no trip off others' designers so she can look fancy in a knockoff. Some of my family and especially her and her parents are beyond upset and have been blowing up my phone because of broken tradition in my baby cousin's heart because she's been looking forward to having me make her wedding dress for years now. I feel kinda bad, but at the same time she's taking the fun and bonding out of designing a wedding dress.